AI systems are getting smarter every day, so I wanted to see how well they can solve CAPTCHA verifications. I tried a few simple and straightforward examples, and it solved 100% of them with no issues at all. I knew I would need to test it with something a lot trickier, something even I would find hard. So I found this CAPTCHA quiz, which is a collection of the craziest and hardest CAPTCHAs on the internet. I tried the test myself first, and got 26 out of 30, or 87%. Some questions were really tricky and I failed 4 of them. Now let's see if ChatGPT and specifically the GPT-4 vision model can beat my score. According to the quiz, the questions go from easy to hard. The first and second questions involved reading a slightly obscured piece of text, and GPT-4 vision had no issues at all. Question 3 was a simple addition. Question 4, what does a great white shark eat? Both resulted in perfect answers. In question 5, you simply needed to be able to read the text. Question 6 involved picking the vegetarian item from the list. Question 7 was another reading task. All 3 came back with perfect answers. Question 8. Box is to boxes as fox is to foxes. In question 9, it needed to find the text in red. No hesitation at all, ChatGPT solved these easily. Question 10. Which one is the smallest? 2 really big herrings, France, Jupiter, 3 really big herrings, or a single herring. Tricky, but it didn't cause any problems for the AI model. We've now completed 10 questions with no mistakes at all. Question 11 and 12 were another pair of simple reading tests. ChatGPT gave the correct solutions. In question 13, we needed to count kittens on the picture. I love how it says kittens are invisible to spam bots, but ChatGPT counted all 4 of them correctly. Question 14 was a simple reading test. With question 15, we reached the first tricky one. GPT-4 Vision got confused with the sides of the dice and answered 4, 3, 6, 4. I gave it a second chance, but it was still unable to interpret it correctly. So we have the first incorrect answer. Next, we had a multiplication written as text on an image and another reading task. These were getting harder now, but the answers were still correct. In question 18, we had to recognize the item in the picture, and ChatGPT correctly identified it as a VHS tape. Then another reading test. Again, the answer was correct. At question 20, we reached another tricky one, finding all the letters with a cat. This was probably confusing for the AI model because the cats and dogs looked very similar, overlapped the letters, and were all black. It answered AYDC, but the correct answer was AFDC, just 1 letter off, but still incorrect. Asking it to double check didn't help. First 20 questions completed, 9 to go, and ChatGPT had made 2 mistakes so far. Question 21 involved the dice again, and sure enough, ChatGPT failed this one too. It struggled to understand what was happening in the picture. Question 22 was cool. You needed to type in the 3 letters from pictures of food, a boat, and a train. The answer we got was AUQ, which was correct. Question 23 was the first reading task that proved to be tricky. To be fair, this would be tough for many people too. Question 24 was a symbol substitution task. We needed to replace the symbols with the relevant characters, and this one was easy for the AI model. The next one was the same type of task it had failed on before, but this time for some reason it was able to solve it and answered SCOG. Then came a cool Scrabble question. Although it initially answered SO, a valid Scrabble word, when I asked it to use all the letters, it returned bazooka, which was the correct answer, so I accepted this. Question 24 was the hardest reading question so far, and it was just too difficult for ChatGPT. Next came a more complex maths question, but the answer was correct. Question 29 was a very complex maths question, but ChatGPT went ahead, wrote some Python code to solve it, and gave the correct answer, 0. The final question, number 30, was another one I personally answered incorrectly, but for whatever reason ChatGPT was able to solve this one too. And that's it. ChatGPT got a result of 84%. It was able to answer 25 out of 30 tests from a collection of the trickiest CAPTCHAs found on the internet. My result was 26 out of 30, so only 1 more correct answer. Quite impressive. So what do you think? What sort of test should we do to 100% make sure only humans can answer them?